Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Where is everybody at? Listen, I see Cash cutting it up already in this chat. I saw Peekaboo. Shout out to Cash who said that I should review the Teletubbies. I'll think about it because it's like intense. It's intense. How are you liking it, Cash? Let me know because I have not I need to head over there. So they did release the new Waco documentary, which I'm totally excited about. But I'm still caught up on the Madeline McCann thing, so I'm like trying to cut myself. And then listen, I got another thing to tell you guys, especially these members, okay? I told you guys this was a couple weeks ago that I've been working on an exclusive with someone, okay? Now this exclusive is from someone that really wants to come and educate the masses about being on reality TV. I am totally stoked about it because I think that it's going to be a very good thing to do, right? Like interesting in terms of educating everybody what to expect, what we really see on these reality TV shows. Is it real? Is it not? You guys don't want to miss that. But in the process of getting that done is taking a lot, in terms of that, and then also other things that I've been covering. I'm also yesterday, was it yesterday? Was yesterday. No worries, no worries. Everybody come on in. I'm just giving you guys a little bit of announcements. Yesterday, I I think we had Miss Brandy Neal here in the chat. I'm going to reach out to her and see if she would be willing to come and talk to us in our channel. I would love to hear some perspective from her just in terms of how things are going for her. Clearly, she her child is still missing, right? And so I want to figure out how we can best support her as well. I know that the internet, specifically YouTubers, have dragged her ups and everywhere, and I want to do something a little bit different. So I'm gonna be reaching out to her. So there's a couple things here that are popping, popping, popping. This is how we stay popping. Okay. All right. Bunny, Peekaboo, Cash, been dreaming. Oh my gosh. No worries. I'm just finishing up with the client, but we'll be popping in. Shout out to Ben Dreaming. Shout out to Ben Dreaming. We got a lot to stuff to catch up on and talk about. The Good Gumpy's in the house. Inquisitive is in the house. Oh my gosh. Yes. Come on and hit that like button. SW. Shout out to SW who's in the house. Tracy. Who else? Tina. Shout out to Tina. Lex. Baby Bun. Oh, sweet baby just went down for a nap and I can actually concentrate and communicate in the chat normal. Baby Bunny is still watching the Teletubbies. And I put some snacks for her in a little baggie. So I'm looking at her right now and she's like, ooh, ooh, this looks good. And she puts it in her mouth and she's watching her show. She's hanging out. It is what it is. Pigeon Mac, how are you, Pigeon Mac? All right, everybody. Sarah, Lane, Lux, I said hello. Chico's in the house. Chico, you are not late. We just started. Lost in Space, how are you, my love? Hope you're doing well. Okay. Who else? Who else? Lord. Oh, okay, cool. Did she? All right. All right, cool. So it'll be easier to kind of message her and stuff. I've never messaged her. I thought about it, but yeah, definitely very hot news. Should we start there with Stephen Smith because that in itself, I was a little like, yo, did not know this, okay? And make sure, listen, I'm not doing a very good job at telling you guys to hit the like button. Please hit the like button while you're coming in. Please, please, please. Listen, we got some topics to cover, some of which are definitely hard hitting. I think we just need to keep that in mind. Hey, Lady Webs, Coco Melon is okay. It's okay. She's not really, she's into the Coco Melon here and there, but something about Teletubbies is a little bit different. I could have sworn it was Friday. I'm so over this week. Just feel exhausted mentally, emotionally, physically, and all it feels, oh, been dreaming. I think a lot of us are there with you, but yeah, we're ready for the weekend, you know, ready for the weekend. And thank you. Yes. All right. Before I forget and we dive into this, I told you guys I was going to tell you a little bit more about what happened with profiling with Pat Brown. TikTok, TikTok, clock is going. I'm waiting. Hopefully by tomorrow, if not Saturday. I'm going to make it just to let you guys know because the members who've supported me, especially because they've been knowing what's been going on, It will be a live, but the chat will be members only, because I think my members deserve to have a members only chat where those that have supported me and know kind of what's up, it's going to be a members only chat. I was thinking about this, and so I definitely want to make it, especially because I'm giving you guys the update on that. So letting you know right now, the chat will be members only. Shout out to all the members. Hey, Just the Tea, please. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, make sure you hit that like button while you're in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What's going on with Chico? Oh, Chico, I'm so sorry. I hope everything's okay. Hope everything's okay. So hope everything's okay. Let me look. Hold up. Yes, it is. It's pretty bad. What's going on right now with what is it? East Denver High. But hey, Desiree, welcome. Okay, let's get it. Let's get back to the focus. We will definitely be talking about East Denver here coming up. Actually, it's between East Denver and the dentist from Aurora. We got some Colorado cases going on here. Shout out to everybody from Colorado. Let's go. Let's talk about this Stephen Smith situation, because it's definitely gonna it's a lot of developments that are happening in the last couple days. You know what? Hashtag justice for Stephen Smith. It's about time we know what happened to this young 19-year-old man, okay, that clearly should have been classified a homicide back then, and it was not. And I don't know why. Well, yes, I do, because, it's SLED. And SLED, they do their own thing. You know what I'm saying? They just do whatever the hell they want to. So let's go ahead and play this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Now, but you've been on the job as an investigator for decades, and I couldn't understand for a moment why I heard on a hit and run, or even a suspected hit and run, within 13 hours, a rape kit would have been ordered. Have you, in your line of work, doing this kind of high-level investigation, ever seen anything like that?
When it comes to traffic accidents, never. This was the very first time. I did not have an understanding of why it was being ordered. We were not notified until later that it had been ordered. So no, I have no answers for you to why they would order a rape kit for what would be suspected.
Remember what they said when Stevens, it was like a vehicular accident. They said that that's his cause of death. So they are looking into this, and they found out that they had actually performed a rape kit on Stephen Smith hours after his death. For why? You know what, SLED? SLED, okay? And that's the South Carolina Law Enforcement Department, okay? Somebody spell out the acronym, but basically it's South Carolina, and it's their law enforcement. Shout out to and I see we're going to get to the Colorado news real quick, but this right here is definitely breaking news in terms of what is going on and what had happened. It was a hit and run, supposedly, right? The family was given different information about what happened to Stephen Smith. There was a rumor out there that the Murdaughs had something to do with this situation. We really don't know. Thank you, Tracy. It is actually South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, SLED. That's what it stands for, okay? Why would they do a rape kit on a hit and run if that's what they had classified as? Yes, ma'am. Why do a rape kit? That was the rumor. Very sus. Very sus. That's suspicious. That's suspicious. Everyone involved in the cover-ups needs to be charged as well. Shout out to Jen Jen. Ooh. They were helping the Murdaugh family. I want to know, you mean to tell me that you classified this as a hit and run, okay? Hit and run situation. That's what you did. And then you did a rape kit on that? Hey, let's keep playing.
It as a hit and run, which it wasn't, but I would never understand that.
And the rape kit was ordered within 13 hours of the discovery of Stephen's body. Yet in that same time frame, if anybody thought this was anything other than a run-of-the-mill hit and run, you would have been called in with the MATE team to do further investigation. And yet you were called off and a rape kit was called in. Does that square at all?
No, ma'am, it does not. Again, I was puzzled and confused from start to when we actually got to finally pick up the case, why we weren't given the opportunity to, be a part of it from the beginning.
Was Mate and your team, or even the South Carolina, highway patrollers, were they ever given any information on what the rape kit yielded or where it ended up?
I know it ended up with SLED, but we were never given any information on the results, or I was not until I retired. Now, they may have an answer now, but as of 2018, we were never given any information of what the results, pending whether it was negative or anything of that nature.
Well, I have a guest coming up who thinks he might have some resolution to that, and it's very distressing, to say the very least. I have other questions I want to ask you about that are equally distressing, and they involve the Murdaugh family as relates to this accident. Stephen Smith's father, who's no longer with us, I believe he died about a year after Stephen Smith was killed.
No, he
Stephen
didn't.
Smith's father called.
I thought it was a couple months after. Wasn't it like 3 months after? Stephen's father passed away like 3 months after his death. Basically, and if I remember correctly, because Sandy Smith, Stephen's mom, was interviewed on that HBO documentary, and she said something to the effect of died of a heart attack in his sleep or something, but really she was saying that he had passed away from a broken heart. That's what I remember. It was not a year after. It was literally like 3 or 4 months after. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Well, if there's a DNA, then Alex's DNA is in the system now. That's why it wasn't processed, in my opinion. The story changed first to beating homicide, then landed with the hit and run. That's right, Desiree. Like, none of this is making sense, yo. None of it. I don't know, guys. SLED sucks. The Murdaugh family is a bunch of liars. Well, I find it interesting that Buster makes his statement, and then the following day they classify it as a homicide. This is interesting,
Called you and had a specific question about Randy Murdaugh. What was the question?
So it was within a very short period of time that Stephen's father had contacted me and asked me about the law firm contacting him about retaining their services. He was really concerned why they would be calling and wanted my advice. Unfortunately, my rule is, or our rule is, investigators and the police, we do not give legal advice. I told him what I thought, and he basically kind of said in short terms that he was not going to do anything at this point. But it was very unusual to me that within a very short period of time, he was contacted.
And then Sandy Smith had reported that they, meaning Randy, had offered free legal representation to that family within 72 hours of Stephen Smith's body being found in the road. And they didn't have a connection to the Murdaughs. They didn't even know what the resolution was yet. They didn't know if it was a hit and run, a murder, and yet a lawyer shows up on their door offering the free legal advice. There was another moment I want to ask you about. Sandy reported that she saw Alex Murdaugh and Alex's brother Randy at the actual scene of where Stephen's body was found as she was driving to the funeral home. Would there be any reason at all for two lawyers like the Murdaughs, Alex and Randy, to be at the scene of where Stephen was found dead?
Why? True Crime Dime says they didn't believe he could walk 3 miles in the same time frame. In that time frame, trying to rule out if someone picked him up while he was walking and possibly or could have been a motive. Have to rule everything out. Absolutely. Crispy, welcome to Crispy Treat. She said they said that it was the street sign. It's a really small town, and these kids were in high school, so the gossip was out of control. Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, how are they going to differ? Look, I don't like blaming people for stuff that they haven't done. At the same time, it seems to me that this family was so into every side of services in terms of government services, police, natural resources, whatever. Like they're a fire department, they're everywhere. So in my mind, I'm just like, well, damn, like what do you expect people to believe? Like even I feel some type of way. You believe some of the rumors, says Chick. Shout out to Chick. He's like, nah, I believe some. I kind of feel some type of way about this because the legacy of this family is like, look, They run the town, right? That's what it seems like to me. I don't know. They're so shady. Hey, Bunny, how are you? They're so shady. They need a whole rehaul of law enforcement, and anyone who hid information for this crime should be fired and prosecuted if they can be. Exactly. Hi, avoidable owl. How are you, my love? Look, they need to do a complete exorcism in the town. A cleaning in the town. I hate to say it that way, those that don't believe in exorcisms. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? How do you let go and release of all this, generational Murdaugness? Release it. And now, mind you, I know that they're having a family auction or a auction of the Murdaugh household stuff. I don't know who would want that shit in their home. Like, why would you? I'll never understand why people actually seek out souvenirs from these kinds of people. I remember one time they were auctioning, was it Marilyn? What's his name? Charlie Manson, not Marilyn. Sorry. Not Marilyn Manson, excuse me. Charlie Manson's stuff, right? They were auctioning letters and doing different things. I'm like, why the fuck? Why would you want that shit? Like, why would you want that kind of bad energy near you? You know? I'm just saying. Some people collect stuff like that. I don't know. Hey, Dukes, how are you? And did I say hello to Vic? Shout out to Vic. If anyone is saying the same thing, some of it must be true, in my opinion. Probably. Jalen says it's so messed up in so many levels. Desiree, also, I've been thinking this since the moment I saw the picture of the first time. Who opens the gas tank before they get gas if they've ran or run? I don't know. Gladys, shout out to Gladys. With Stephen's death, there's always been a cover up. I've been following this case for 4 years. That was never a hit and run. I have always felt that from day one. Layla says, I refuse to have bad juju in my house. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, some people will go out there, they'll collect, who was it? Ted Bundy, right? There was some memorabilia of Ted. I don't want anything from Ted Bundy. Charlie Manson. Who else? All these other people. You know what? Let these people, when they pass away, when they, whether it's death penalty, whatever it may be, let the shit die with them. Don't bring that shit around you, because I just truly believe, why take that in with you? A friend has now come forward. He saw the entire thing. He was hit with the bat. Buster was hitting mailboxes out of the window and saw him hit him with the bat as they drove past. What? Where did that come out of, True Crime Dime? Are you serious? Is there an article out there? Please put it in the chat. Let me know the name of the article and we could pull it up. Are you serious? I agree, Finn. Right, Crispy. They did. That's crazy, yo. If you run out of gas, I have a few times. Do you open your gas tank when you run out of the gas? No, I don't. I don't. Not unless I'm at a gas station. I'll check it out. I'll check it out, Aaron. Thank you so much for the heads up. I heard something similar in Netflix. I heard that too. I remember that. Right. And just now. But the fact that they're doing a rape kit on this is just crazy to me, yo.
Within such a short period of time.
In my opinion, no. Not if they were not involved in any way. In my opinion, I could not answer why they would be there.
Can I ask you one other question? I don't know if you know this, because a lot of time has passed. It's almost 8 years since Stephen was killed. But this was never a closed case. It was always a cold case. It's now heating up. And one of the reasons that it's heating up is that the investigation into Paul and Maggie's death yielded something. And it's a mystery to everyone. A, do you know? And B, do you hear anything about that?
There is something that there are rumors flying out there that I will not get into. But yes, they are. They could be true. They could not be true. But yes, they are something that apparently that has been heard, said, or found that are rumors that are the reason why it's heating up or did heat up.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnation.now.com to
Yeah,
find News Nation on your
think I know
television
where the
provider.
letter's
And
from.
don't forget to click the
Hold
red
up.
subscribe button.
Hold up. I think I know what you're talking about. Let me see. The letter is: the grieving mother, who has long disputed the death ruling, said that the Murdaugh family involved themselves in Stephen's death nearly immediately. The first call to my family received was after the murder from the authorities notifying us of Steve's death, Sandy wrote. The second came very quickly the same morning from a solicitor, Randolph Murdaugh. I'm trying to see the letter. Another classmate told Stephen's older brother, Christopher, that he was present for the attack and watched Buster kill Stephen with a baseball bat. He claimed it was because Stephen was gay, Sandy wrote. The witness said that they were smashing mailboxes when they came upon Stephen and Buster's and seized that opportunity. Lord have mercy. The mother believes Buster, now 26, was carrying on a secret romantic relationship with her son, on a rumor repeated by a former classmate explored on the Netflix documentary. That's the thing, though. That's the thing we've been saying, is that there is this rumor out there. So now I'm kind of questioning, well, you had the Murdaughs all over there. What are they doing to dispute that? They ain't accusing Buster. They started with the scratch, people quoting the letter and rumors. Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like, what do we have out there? Puzzled to pieces. If Buster did hit him with the bat, do you think they found the bat in the Murdaugh home? Oh, jeez. You got to remember when the trial was going on, they opened the case, right? The investigation. What made them do that in the first place? That's what I want to know. I don't know. Tracy said SLED said that they always knew it was a homicide. Then why did they not investigate it? Why mark it as a hit and run? Well, the rape kit is very telling. The fact that I mean, we had no clue that there was a rape kit. I didn't know this. Did you guys know this? I didn't hear any Netflix documentary or HBO doc even speak on that. Like, don't you think that that's something that they would have said something about? This is weird. This whole thing is weird, and I really, you know what? It has. Listen, we need justice for this young man, okay? Like, we just need justice for him. What happened to him was not okay. Something needs to happen, and those that, did what they did need to be held accountable for their actions. That's just how I see it at this point, okay? We need to head over to this East Denver High School situation, okay? So yesterday we talked about it here, right? We discussed the shooting, about what happened. And one of the things that we talked about, for those that were in the chat, we said how excuse me. Here you go. There you go. We talked about how the young man, which they've identified, his name is Austin Lyle, okay? Very young, under the age of 18 man, okay, young boy, teenager, okay? Was on a safety plan of some sorts, okay? He was on a safety plan of some sorts. And that included trying to pat him down before he actually went into the school, right? Some of you guys asked fabulous questions about, well, how did he get to school? Did he walk to school and then he gets pat down, or does he like go on the bus and then like do they do that beforehand? How exactly does this work, right? Which I thought was excellent questions to even ponder. What we know is that he was pat down, a handgun was found, and then he basically shot two school administrators while the search was happening. And I have a lot of questions. Now I know, hey, Miss Kathy P. Now I know that typically, what happens, it's okay, baby bunny. Look, let me show you something. Typically what happens, kids have to get their educational needs met. One way or another, they have to get their educational needs met, right? Like, we can't just discriminate, whatever it may be. But the thing is, too, is that if they pose, any student poses a risk to safety in school, on school grounds, what do we do then, right? He was being patted down as part of a safety plan. He can't just walk in. Like, they knew that he was somebody that would carry weapons, right? So it would make you wonder, well, what do you do if he does have a weapon? Do you take the weapon from him and then let him go to class? Like, what was a little bit more about this? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of confusional stuff here. But they did find Austin Lyles. He took his own life. I think it was like a 10-hour manhunt that they had going on, and that they found him, that he basically committed suicide. Okay.
East High School shooting suspect is over. High-ranking law enforcement source says that 17-year-old Austin Lyle is dead.
The Park County Sheriff says a SWAT team found a body close to where they found the car of the suspected shooter. Let's get straight to our Cole Sullivan, who's live in Bailey.
Alex, Kyle, this press conference just wrapped in the last 20 minutes or so with the Park County Sheriff. He confirms exactly what you said. About 0.2 of a mile from that red Volvo that police have been looking for all day, they found a body. And a senior law enforcement source tells 9 News that is the body of Austin Lyle, the suspect in today's shooting at Denver East High School. Let me give you a context of where we are right now in relation to East, because we're a pretty long way away. We're about 30 miles from East High School to the west in Bailey, Colorado. That's in Park County, just west of Conifer. This is a rural area just about up Highway 68 here where they found this body. And the sheriff had a shelter in place issued for a 5-mile radius around where we are right now. He had a message for folks who are in this area tonight as well. Take a listen.
They should feel relieved that that we came up here and solved the problem, and that we don't have to, wait around till tomorrow morning or next few days on something like this. So it's over. That's what I can say for tonight. It's over with.
So this was the scene here in Park County off that rural mountainous road on Highway 68 as officers from a number of different departments arrived to search for this suspect. The sheriff says that this all began, the superintendent here in Park County says that there was a ping off the suspect's cell phone in Conifer, and that's what started law enforcement looking in this area. The sheriff says that his officers, as well as federal agents from the ATF and also Jeffco deputies, waited until the Jefferson County SWAT team arrived. They had some armored vehicles and a convoy we saw pull through around 5:30 or 6 o'clock this evening. That is when they began searching the area around that Volvo for Austin Lyle. They found him 0.2 of a mile away. This all started a little before 10 o'clock this morning at Denver East High School. Lyle, DPD says, shot 2 administrators at that school this morning just before 10 o'clock. It happened in a front office near the school's entrance. He was being patted down by those school administrators, the officials say, as part of a daily routine that was part of Lyle's safety plan, the district called it, that enables him to go to that school. The chief says, the DPD chief says, that they never found a gun on him before until today. He shot those 2 administrators and then fled that scene, leading to a 12-hour manhunt nearly that stretched across multiple counties here, ending here today in Park County, as you heard the sheriff saying, it's over.
I don't understand it. And Vic, asking school employees to pat down dangerous students as well. Well, it's not even that. Asking school employees to pat down students for weapons is kind of off. Does that seem kind of off to you guys? Like, it's one thing to say, well, we're concerned for drugs, even drugs, right? I'm hearing over here that there's no more school resource officers. I don't know why not, but I mean, hey, maybe they're cutting through everything. I don't know. What triggered this young boy to shoot those teachers and himself? A lot of the adults dropped the ball with this one. He should have never been allowed on school grounds. He needs real help, not a pat down. Layla, when you mandate a school attendance day with paid a party and petting farm just so the school gets more money, then the money isn't followed after this kid start missing school. Wow. It's over for search, but not for the families. Maybe he was being bullied. Still no excuse. Right. But okay, this is how I see this, right? He was on a safety plan where he would get pat down before he goes into class, right? How many times has he tried to bring a weapon prior to the safety plan that would have led for the safety plan to be enacted? Like, I want to know what weapon he brought before these administrators said, you need to be on a safety plan because you're bringing weapons to school. Does anybody kind of wonder? I'd like to know. I'd like to know that, number one. That's the question that I want to know, because there's no way that suddenly, well, we just put him on a safety plan for the fuck of it, right? Like, no. What behaviors did he have before that led him to be put on a safety plan? How was this even measured, right? And how long had he been on there? And what was the weapon that he brought in before? Because you don't get on a safety plan to be patted down for the fun of it. I'm just saying. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Sorry, this is my social work hat right now. Okay, you start to pay attention. Well, what happened before? What didn't work before that we're at right now? Help me understand. This is 101 for me, right? I'd like to know. You don't just walk in and put you on a safety plan for weapons and then say, we're going to start patting you down every day. You know how embarrassing it is to, at least for some kids, right? You're getting patted down. Was there any gang affiliation that was going on? Maybe he was hanging out with the wrong crowd. Maybe he was accused of something. Maybe he had done some threats before. What led us to put him on a safety plan, hence why we're here today? And clearly he felt like he could violate that safety plan because it was not necessarily working for that, for whatever reason. The other thing I want to say too is I want to know what investigation, what led police to determine that this young man took his own life. Do we know that for a fact? Because they got to figure out where this weapon came from. Do we know it didn't come from somebody else? Like those are questions that I have. Lindsay, I bet cities can allocate funds to safety of schools. Every community has money being spent where it should be. But that's another story. Ma'am, Lindsay, great point. Let me tell you something. Colorado, supposedly there was this marijuana pass, right? All these funds were for marijuana was meant for the schools. Okay? What had happened there? What happened with that? Was it educational? What about school safety? What about like alternative methods? What about mental health services in school? Those are things that need to be asked. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just ignore these things, you know? You can't. Clearly something was going on. And I'm almost certain kids don't just have access to weapons. There's usually somebody that gives it to them or they have access to them. Something happened there. I have a lot more questions than this, and I don't know what this investigation is going to yield, and hopefully there's an independent report from it so we can examine it a little bit different, because I have a lot of questions, and the mayor and the chief of police and all these people that did their press conferences yesterday wasn't cutting it for me, especially when I'm trying to figure out what weapon he brought in before that led him to be on this plan. That's what I want to know. Let me go ahead and hit play.
Cole, I want to go back to what the sheriff said, where he's talking about them going up there and taking care of it. Do we have any indication that law enforcement engaged the shooting suspect in any way, face-to-face or otherwise?
No indication at all that happened at this point. The sheriff deferred lots of questions to Denver police, saying it's their investigation. He said the body was found about 0.2 of a mile from that car, and they didn't start looking for it for a couple hours until the SWAT team arrived too, Kyle.
All right, Cole Sullivan, thank you.
Started like hearing like little like gunshots, but like I didn't know like they were actually real.
Second month in a row, students at Denver's largest public high school were on lockdown after a shooting. There were still flowers out front after 16-year-old Luis Garcia was fatally shot there in February. Both of the people shot today are deans at the school.
Gerald Mason is out of the hospital tonight. Eric Sinclair is still there in serious condition after a surgery for life-threatening injuries.
You're a hypocrite. You haven't done anything. Hypocrisy. Are these your armed
the same deal.
guards right here?
You're not doing your
Now,
job.
armed guards right there.
No, you don't appreciate anything. You're not doing your job.
Mayor Michael Hancock and Police Chief Ron Thomas were confronted by parents outside of East this morning, people begging them to take action to keep the community safe.
Come on, you guys need to get it, be on top of it. These are our kids. I don't want to come and get my kid and have her take her to the funeral.
9 News reporter Jennifer Meckles joins us from outside East tonight. And Jennifer, this afternoon, the superintendent decided to go around the school board to bring armed Denver police officers back into schools.
Yes, Desiree.
Yeah, Kyle, this is defiance of the school board's policy on SROs that Dr. Marrero, the superintendent of Denver Public Schools, says they're now going to bring 2 armed Denver police officers on this campus through the end of the school year, as well as adding back armed officers from the Denver Police Department at high schools around the district. That decision came in the form of a memo to the school board today. Today was my 4th visit to Denver Health's ICU due to victims of gun violence, Marrero wrote to the board. These events should not have happened on my watch or on this board's watch. Marrero then informs the board he is putting 2 armed DPD officers at East High School through the end of the year, plus at least 1 armed officer at other high schools in the district, and promising ongoing conversations with those principals about their needs. I acknowledge this action likely violates Executive Limitations 1010, he writes, pointing to the 2020 board decision to remove Denver police from campuses. However, I can no longer stand on the sidelines. I am willing to accept the consequences of my actions. The school board has not answered our questions about what those consequences could be. At East High School today, students and parents weren't sure they could come back.
Today's his last day here. Like, get all your friends, Instagrams, Facebook, whatever you need, but because you will not be coming back here no more. Today's the last day.
Kids and teachers at East High and staff should not be expected to show up physically at school here. The risk is too great.
When I do go back, I'm going to look at my surroundings, and if I don't see no safety, then I'm not going back. And that's why I want to see safety.
That's crazy.
Late this afternoon, the Denver School Board released a statement saying that they do support the superintendent's decision to put armed officers back on campuses through the end of the year. But the board didn't comment as a whole, Kyle, on that memo in which the superintendent says, I'm defying policy here by doing this. We do expect to hear more from the board leadership tomorrow at some point.
And just a reminder for folks, Jenny, who don't follow schools all the time, the superintendent works for the board. They are the elected body. He is their employee. They tell him what to do. So, I mean, he really was putting his job on the line today by bringing DPD officers back into schools. It was just 3 years ago that that decision was made. And we should mention it was unanimous on the board.
It was at the time. It was an interesting conversation and a different, context of conversation around students and what was going on in 2020 with protests and, social justice. And to your point, though, the board gives the superintendent directives. The directive they gave him was this policy with SROs. So he's acknowledging that he's doing something different. I'll be very curious to see if there are, in fact, any consequences, and maybe there won't be. I'm not sure.
Wow.
Jennifer Meckles reporting from East. Thank you.
It's no joke,
During
guys.
Jenny's report there, we got some new information that clears up one of the biggest questions that we talked about earlier in this broadcast. A law enforcement source tells 9 News that the shooting suspect, Austin Lyle, died by suicide in Park County. Based on the sheriff's wording, it was unclear whether they had some involvement with his death. But again, now law enforcement sources telling 9 News that the East High shooting suspect, Austin Lyle, died by suicide.
Today's shooting happened just weeks after a student at East High was killed. Someone shot 16-year-old Luis Garcia near campus.
Crazy.
He passed away at the hospital, and family laid him to rest just this past Saturday. 9 News reporter Kelly Rinke spoke to Luis's brother, who continues to ask for change.
Sorrow still lies outside East High School for a student who was shot near campus last month. A community hasn't even had time to heal before another shooting.
I knew it was going to happen again. I warned as much people as I could that it was going to happen again.
Santos Garcia continues to advocate for change after the death of his brother, Luis. Someone shot the 16-year-old next to East while he sat in his car.
It's dumb that we haven't, had any physical solutions been brought to the problem.
For weeks, Santo has been asking for an armed officer at every DPS school. The district says this morning the 2 security guards at East didn't have a gun.
I talked to the principal and the deans and some of the staff here, and they wanted police. This is not just an East problem. I guess it's a community problem.
The superintendent says he's committed to adding 2 armed officers at East for the rest of the school year and an armed cop at every high school. For a brother in mourning, the decision came too late for students and staff today.
They could have been avoided if there was a cop there, to prevent anything like this from happening.
It could have been avoided. I think that's what gets to me, right? These young kids. It could have been avoided. It could have been avoided. It's a larger community, nationwide conversation that I think we all need to have, right? Some may right. What happened yesterday, and we were even talking about this. I remember going to school not having, the biggest shooting was Columbine, right? That I remember. And then there were some afterwards. Some of them just don't make the media. Some of this didn't even really make the media either. We were talking about this yesterday. I'm like, I bet there's not a lot of YouTubers talking about what happened in, the high school. And some of it came a little bit later. Shout out to the subby that messaged me. I said, I didn't even know this had happened. And then I know some people, and they were getting messages too about there being a shooting, lockdowns, and different things. I guess we're just not. Are we desensitized from things like that? And then you have these kiddos that are having to worry about their safety in addition to having to get their education. Some ain't right. Something ain't right. I don't know. I don't know what protocol is. However, around the public school where I am, they have metal detectors and security, and the students have to carry clear backpacks. Even school security would be nice, armed security officers or something. That's how I see it. We got to do something about this. This is getting out of hand. It truly is. Truly. Yes, we are, Elvis. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. All right, guys, we have to move into our next one. Listen, I switching up a little bit, okay, but we're still in Colorado because this shit is hot in Colorado right now. Shout out to everybody from Colorado. All right, make sure if you're from Colorado, you're sharing this video with everybody, please and thank you. Okay, so shout out to the is it True Crime Grizzly? Because I was watching one of her shorts. And she was like, and the reason I take it from her, so I posted this on my community tab. You have this dentist from Aurora, okay? And she called him the new Chris Watts. And I said, God damn, that's a huge thing to call somebody Chris Watts. Because you know how big that case was as well, right? You have a dentist that it has been charged for the murder of his wife. We did? Oh my God. Sorry guys, I'm not even looking at my other device. Thank you. Let me see. Hold up. Who gifted? Did somebody gift? You guys are gifting? Hold up. Oh, Jen gifted. Shout out to Jen. She gifted 5 memberships, guys. Make sure you thank Jen if you received a membership. Who got a membership? Let me see before we move on. I didn't see. Okay, Jingle's got a membership. Ava got a membership. Texas Love got a membership. And Bubs Babe got a membership. And Laced and Chains got a membership. Shout out to everybody that got memberships. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Chico, thank you for giving. Guys, StreamYard and YouTube are 2 different screens. So I don't always get the gifted memberships notification on there. But mods, thank you. Like Chico did right now. She gave me the heads up, like somebody gifted. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate you, Jen, for doing that. Absolutely. I mean, and you guys, if you guys got a membership from Jen, please say thank you. Thank you. We are at 242. I know I had some memberships canceled. Not canceled, but like it's a monthly thing. So they don't always pay for the, if it's gifted, people will tend to cancel. But we're getting there. We're getting there. We're not at 245. We're at 242. So I think 3 members, their membership expired. So, because you have to understand, membership is monthly. So if you don't update your card or you don't consent for another membership, then it kicks you off. So yeah, we're at 242 right now. Chico's trying to keep me, accountable. We're trying to get to 300, which is awesome. Thank you guys. And for those that are, in the membership, I appreciate you. Chico's like, let me make sure you paid for yours. I see you. I see it on StreamYard. But some people, they don't, it's cool. Like some memberships aren't for everybody. They're like, I'm out of here. I'm done with the rabbit, and they get out, and that's cool. Shout out to them. It's okay. But we'll get there. We'll get there. But just letting you know that when we talk about the other stuff, which is, I'm going to tell you about the copyright stuff that happened and all the vaccines, that is going to be for my members only. Yes, Cash, like it's a membership / cult. You can't leave. None. Can't leave. You sure can't. Nope. That's why Cash is stuck here forever, ever, and ever. Like the Teletubbies. They start popping in your dreams like that. I know. I love Gisela. She's great. She's great. So she kind of made this, let me get back to this. She kind of made this, a correlation to like Chris Watts. I said, damn, I think she's right. So you have this dentist that, basically is being charged with the murder of his wife, poisoned his wife. Listen, I just don't understand why people just don't get divorced. Why we got to kill each other? You know what I'm saying? Just get divorced. I hate to say it that way because it's like, I was married in the Catholic Church, so I definitely believe till death do us part, right? But listen, I don't want to die and I don't want to kill you, so just get divorced. Like, it's okay. There's always the annulment process, whatever that is.
We're gathering new information on what investigators are calling a heinous, complex, and calculated murder. Here's what we know at this hour. This man, Dr. James Craig, a dentist, now accused of poisoning his wife. Detectives say Craig took wife Angela to the hospital last Wednesday. 2 days ago, she was declared brain dead. Our Ellen Janae following the developing story tonight and has more on the case against James Craig. Ellen.
Well, Jim, this is a case with evidence from online activity as well as co-workers, including James Craig's partner and his business, his dental practice business inside this building, where the partner said James Craig had received a shipment of poison. And Angela Craig's sister, who told police that the relationship between the dentist and his wife had been tumultuous and that he had had multiple affairs. It is a warm and loving photo from 2020 on the Facebook page of the Summerbrook Dental Group. Dr. Craig on his way to celebrate his and Angie's 20th wedding anniversary, it says.
I'm a mother. I feel it. I feel the pain.
Neighbors Karen and Michael Lucero are stunned. Now, Dr. James Craig is in a mugshot, accused of murdering his wife.
It just makes me sick.
Seem real.
Yeah.
Poison her. That's what I mean. This is a sad situation, right? Especially when kids are involved. Lindsay, you are so right on. You're so right on. Somebody said in here, I don't want to forget I'm going to write this down. Hey, Exposure Arena, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for catching the replay. That also helps as well. Thank you. I got to write this down because you guys have been saying the next emoji needs to be a Teletubby. If they have a rabbit Teletubby, then possibly I might do it. But we're like 8 members away from the new. Every so often in the memberships, you get like, you have to meet so many members in order to get a new emoji. So we're about 8 away. So that might be on the list, as well as a dumpster fire because you guys voted on that. So sorry. Side note, Let's keep playing this.
Seem like something that he could ever do to her.
Among the evidence in an affidavit, police say internet searches for poisons that left no trace, and orders for arsenic, which he bought online from Amazon, and potassium cyanide, which he had delivered to his dental office, now closed and dark.
And it's too close to home. Too close to home, this happening.
Anna Nibby has been a patient of Dr. Craig for nearly 20 years. Her daughter was in his office on March 9th. She saw him for that brief time.
For that brief time.
And he
didn't look good. Something was going on, had to rush out and take his wife to the emergency room.
Oh my God.
3 times.
One
Angie
second.
went to the
SW just gifted 10. SW. Don't get in trouble, SW. She just gifted 10. Thank you so much. Oh my God. All right. So if you guys received, shout out to SW. If you guys received membership from SW, and Chico just gifted 1, 2. Oh my God. All right. Chico gifted. How many are you gifting? 1, 2. Lord have mercy. So SW gifted 10 and Chico gifted 2. Okay. Let me read out these names. Let me stop real quick. I got to read out these names. Malibu, Jessica got 1. Annalise got 1. Lindsay got a membership. Don't Look Back. Never heard that person, but shout out to Don't Look Back. Ellie got 1. Who else? Rebecca, Slayer Selection, Jazzy T, Dragonflies, Sadie. Who else? Chico gifted Shortcake. Shout out to Shortcake. And then Chico gifted who else? True Crime Dime. Shout out to you guys. You guys drop some hearts and some thank yous in the chat for those that received. Now we got to get a new emoji. We'll vote on it, okay? Thank you, guys. Thank you. Chico and SW, you guys, thank you. Let's keep going, okay? I appreciate the both of you.
Hospital. Doctors had a hard time diagnosing her problems. But the affidavit says some of that time, James Craig was likely with a girlfriend who had flown into town from Austin, Texas.
Oh my God.
Police believe there was motive and there was evidence on his computer and with staff who found poison. And there are a lot of people simply stunned that the father of 6 might kill his wife.
She would pretty much just give me anything. That's the kind of person
That's messed up.
She is.
Well, Angela Craig told her sister that James had drugged her 5 or 6 years ago. In the affidavit, there are a series of text messages between husband and wife, including one that comes from March 6th, in which Angela texted James she felt drugged after drinking a protein shake that he had given her. Well, he texted back that he said, given our history, I know that must be triggering, but just for the record, I didn't drug you. In Aurora, I'm Alan Janae, covering Colorado First.
Now we take you to Aurora.
Oh my God. True Crime Dime says, my friend that worked for him said he was always cheating on his wife for years and years. They had 6 kids too, Trace. I hope she needs justice. You know, he'll have his day in court, right? But that right there is just disgusting. And he was going with the girlfriend, flying to trips. I'm sorry. Like, even it's so hard not to project some of that anger, just thinking about that. He is so effed up. And the 6 children, and then he kills her. Can you imagine 6 babies without their mother? Why do people, Layla, I'm telling you, let me tell you something. You don't got to cheat on me. You could just go. Like, I will not be hurt. I promise you that. I got, you know, my own stuff going on. Like, listen. The rabbit husband can leave. Trust me. You know, we've had this conversation. We don't need to do all that. And we know that our children love us and we're an asset. You know, we don't need to do all that. Right? Like, that's just crazy to me that people would do that shit. I'm sorry. Right, Cash. And now without their father, 2 parents. Just leave me, go do your thing, whatever you want to do. Trust me, I will be fine. We will be fine. Crispy, you became a member. You got gifted, I think. If you were able to make every single person go through a metal detector and one of those magic wand things, and the core has used it, which okay, I got you. You're talking about the detection in the school. Your sister used to live in Aurora. It's money, says Evil. Listen, look, I believe that sometimes things aren't always going to work out. Sometimes God has a different way of showing you, taking you out of situations. It is best to walk away and not be part of that. A divorce, shit. Listen, take the money. Let me have some peace. Like, believe it or not, that's just how I am. I'm not, I don't seek out conflict. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's like a marriage or something. Like, no, don't do all that. Don't do all that. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, I'm going to head out because Baby Bunny said it's time to go. Do you want to go watch Teletubbies? Is that going to be our new, is the Teletubbies going to be a new emoji? Listen, we will vote in the members live, okay? Or excuse me, in the members community tab. I have different ones that you guys suggested. I guess Teletubbies on the list, dumpster fires on the list, and another one. I don't know what else you guys suggested, but I'm going to, yeah, right, Layla. I feel you. Let me do a little rabbit twerk. I want to thank those that have gifted us and those in the chat that have participated. Make sure you hit that like button if you're watching the replay. We talk about different things here, and I appreciate it. News-related stuff, social justice issues, and if you enjoy it, please hit the like button. SW says she likes the dumpster fire. Well, thank you so much again, you guys. Thank you so much for gifting. I appreciate you for modding, for being members, for being subscribers. I appreciate you so much. You ready to go? You ready to go? Yes? She said yes. All right. Rabbits out, guys.